Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Players Take episode 126. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-host. He likes cat girls, Montrell Rice.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
What's going on, man? How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. The impossible has happened, Montrell. I told you about this yesterday, but I've joined the dark side. I have gotten an iPhone.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You keep saying that. What are you talking about? Hey, yeah, you got the iPhone.
I haven't finished setting it up yet, but yeah, my wife
Okay.
peer pressured me into getting one yesterday, so here we are. I'm an Apple boy
I'm waiting
now.
for them blue. I'm waiting for them blue bubbles, man.
Oh yeah,
I'm
the
still
blue.
texting
Oh
you,
yeah,
man,
I know.
and
I
it's
send you
still
all the
green.
special emojis and shit, right? There's all sorts of like little features I can do now.
Yeah, I got two. I'm going to send to you. That's like really cool. You're gonna be like,
Okay.
oh my god, that's cool. I'm going to send it to you. But
All right,
I gotta wait
cool.
till you get your iPhone.
Well, most people I know have iPhones at this point. I actually think the only holdouts are like Jet and Snakes at this point.
And Dennison.
Oh,
Dennison, too.
okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I think, but I think his girl's gonna convince him to get an iPhone as well.
yeah. I mean, if it's gonna enhance the relationship, go for it. They were telling me last night. Apparently, you can see if somebody's read your text on iPhone, if you're iPhone to iPhone. And
So you can actually turn that off if you like. I keep
Okay.
mine on, but I don't because I don't really care. But you can turn that off. It'll just say delivered.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, I'm just, my wife's gonna use that against me at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, you might want to turn yours on.
Or I'll go into her phone and turn it off. She'll never figure out how to get it back on. Well, that's good. I'm glad we're doing well. We're both doing well. But we've got a show to do this week. We need to get right into it, I think, Montrell. You said you need to get out of here pronto. So let's keep this one short and sweet for the people, concise. So this is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. And we don't miss a week, motherfuckers. Doesn't matter. Montrell's not here. I'll do a show solo. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I did it last week. If I'm not here, Montrell's going to do the show, okay? It's probably never going to happen because I'm a fucking degenerate. But, if it does, that's it. So you never miss a show. If you'd like to send us questions, by the way, please, we want more questions. Send them to Twitter at The Players Take or theplayerstake01@gmail.com. Send us those questions and we will read them on the show at the end of the show. It's a great way to wind down the episode. So, Montrell, let's get right into it. Let's start like we always do with what we've been playing. Would you like to go first this week, or do you want me to go first?
I can go first.
Okay,
I've been playing League of Legends, Final Fantasy 14. We'll get to that later. Apex. So I've been playing it solo on the PS5. I'm actually better on consoles than I am on PC. So I just been practicing.
That aim assist, man, it's helping you out, right? Yeah,
it is. So I've actually been just practicing, like doing solo runs and stuff like that, and I think I'm getting better at the game.
Yeah.
Also been playing Battlefield 4 with some friends from Twitter or whatever, and we're just trying to get prepared for like Battlefield 2024, 42 rather, 2042.
2042, right.
Yeah,
2077, I don't remember. That's Cyberpunk. Whoops.
So a lot of people, actually the servers are like full. Hell. And then I'm actually playing this game called Splitgate. So this game is Portal meets Halo. It's literally Halo because they have a BR in the game that does 4 shots. 4 shots to the body, 1 to the head, 4 shot it. And but they have like you can put portals in the map and then switch places in the map and stuff like that. But it's literally like Halo. It's on Xbox and it's on PS5. I've been playing it on a PS5. It's free to download, so I do recommend trying it out if you like Halo and you still stuck on PlayStation and you don't feel like getting Xbox or whatever. It's a nice little Dollar Tree Halo. You know what I'm saying? You can get it for
Dollar Tree Halo.
It's a great value Halo.
It's fucked up, man.
No, it is. That is exactly. If you see it, like I want you to look at the gameplay when we get done.
Yeah.
It looks just like Halo, but like
so
Dollar Tree.
It's like those like you know those pretzel sticks you can buy with like the little cheese dip you can get that they have like a 5-pack of at Dollar Tree. They're like those versus like handy snacks that are like $4
Pretty
for the
much,
same amount.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
if you go to the store, right, and you say, I want Kraft macaroni and cheese, but then you
Yeah.
have right next to it, it has great value great value macaroni and cheese. It's the
Yeah.
great value. If you played it, you probably wouldn't, tell the difference. You probably like, is this Halo? And this
I
no,
mean,
it's
dude, to be
Splitgate.
fair, Great Value mac and cheese is probably literally just Kraft mac and cheese, just rebranded. So
I think it is. I think they
no,
did something like that. Yeah.
that is legit, literally a thing. They are a lot of those store brand grocery store brands are made by they're made by major companies. They're just they're private label basically. Private label meaning they're for the store that is selling the product. And you know they are a lower quality, like they'll use lower grade product sometimes, but other times sometimes they don't, and it's just the same thing with like a Walmart label on it instead of like whatever brand. So
Yeah, so that's all I've been playing. But yeah, I do recommend Splitgate. I recommend if you are playing League of Legends, seek help, go to a therapist, and uninstall the game. Don't play this game.
well, dude, okay, I have to ask you because you know you're planning on streaming soon, and I want to as well. And like, are you playing League to stream it? Like, you're playing League as much as you are to stream it? Because I feel
Yeah, I
like you're
am.
like
I am.
okay, you're like preparing yourself. I see. Okay,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that makes
I'm
more
getting
sense.
I'm getting
I
all
feel
my
like
shouts out right
voluntarily
now.
playing this much is like it's
Yeah.
unhealthy.
I'm getting all my shouts out right now. So that's why I'm like
Okay.
I'm playing while I'm in the Discord with y'all because y'all like my fake audience. So I'm like, okay, I gotta chill out. So I try to chill out. Actually, when I'm not in Discord, I'm screaming and fucking yelling at the game. But
I mean, I gotta calm down the Apex because, dude, I've been getting real. Okay, so I've been playing Apex too, and I've been getting real frustrated with Apex lately, like really frustrated, because you know we play with our friends, and there are some nights where we just do not have chemistry as a team, like a group of three, and it really pisses me off when it happens, because you know like people will not play with the team, and we will lose because of it, and I'll be like running into the circle by myself, and I'll get killed by a team because other people are behind me like fucking looting in the gas or doing and it's just like we're not communicating, and it's just like I get really frustrated, and then I'm like I'm done. I get off the game and I don't want to play it anymore. And the other thing with Apex is starting to kind of grind on me a little bit is the battle pass. I think after this season, I think I'm kind of done with it. Like I'm not gonna play for it anymore because honestly, at this point, what happens is I don't even play the characters I want to play. I don't use the guns I want to use. Like I'm doing all this shit for battle pass challenges, and ultimately I'm not even playing the game in a way that I find fun. I'm playing fucking Rampart or some character I don't like, or fucking Mirage or something, like characters I don't really enjoy playing just to finish battle pass challenges. So I'm over it. I think I'm going to finish this season's pass, and then I think next season I'm not even gonna bother. I'm just gonna if I get to 100 or 110 naturally, I will. That's fine. That's great. If I don't, fuck it. I don't care. You know, I'm not even gonna pay attention to it because I can't. Like I really think it's ruining the game for me at this point. It takes your focus off why you're playing. You know, because you find the game fun, but
yeah,
then you're
yeah.
turning it into something that isn't fun. You know, so
Yeah, and I understood why y'all did it, but sometimes I'll be trying to play to win, and y'all be playing like y'all be playing champions that y'all don't play all the time.
well, dude, that's the other thing that's happening is like we're not playing as a team, and we're all playing characters we don't want to play, and we're using guns that we don't normally use, or we're bad with, and it's like just a complete challenges, and it's turning into this thing where it's just like it's like we're like handicapping ourselves, like significantly handicapping ourselves against people who are probably better than us, and it's like we're not winning anything, we're not winning any games because of it, you know. And it's like at a certain point, I just kind of like have to stop. Like Snakes doesn't really play for challenges; he never does. But me and Jet do, and it's like we do these like wacky fucking combos, like weapon combos, where I'll have like a sniper rifle and a shotgun or something, you know, because those are the two
Yeah,
damage types I need to do for challenges, and it's like that's a really shitty loadout, you know, because mid range you are fucked pretty much. So it's like, which is the majority of Apex's gameplay actually. So yeah, I think after this season, I'm just gonna stop really like doing it. And we'll just probably get the level of battle pass up through pure just gameplay. Playing a lot. So yeah, that's that. I've also been balls deep in Ion. I was talking about
Balls
that
deep.
last week. Balls deep, Montrell. Balls deep. I'm level 30 of
Yeah.
50 in this game now, and there's actually a double EXP week going on right now, which just doubled down my desire to play even more. So I'm really having fun with it. It's really a old school like kind of experience, and I'm digging it. It's really nice contrast to Final Fantasy, which I am also enjoying. I'm also playing that, and I'm almost done with the main story. Period. I think I have like 10 or 11 quests left, and I will be done. Period until Endwalker comes out. So I'm looking forward to finishing that. It is slow going. I've really not been putting a lot of time into this. Maybe a couple hours a night, and it's just like some nights there's so many cutscenes that I only get through like one or two quests. But I'm almost there. I'm pretty sure I'll be done this time next week. But Montrell, you haven't been playing Final Fantasy as much. Are you just kind of like in a you what are your feelings right now on it, man? Where are you at?
I really want to play it more, but when I load it up, it's the grind aspect. Like I have to go through the same dungeons, the same 2 dungeons until I get to another level. Then I gotta go through those same 3 dungeons that I unlocked, and then 4 dungeons. So I'm just trying to get through that phase. It's just getting through that phase. And then we're
Yeah.
all kind of splitting up doing our own thing anyway right now. I guess I would just like for all of us to go back to it, but that's partly my fault too. Like it's a 25% thing. Like all 4 of us are doing our own little things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, but I'm still enjoying the game. It's just like I said, I don't like the way they broke up the content and stuff like that, and how I gotta grind through the content and everything like that. So
Well,
I'm
you're
really
not
just
using everything at your disposal, though, is what I'll say. Grinding dungeons is not the most efficient way to level. Like you gotta, you
okay.
gotta, you gotta grind dungeons while you're doing the Wondrous Tales challenges, while you're doing your challenge log. Like there's tons of ways to gain experience, man. It's just like you got to
That's not
utilize all of them to be efficient. And
okay.
like I told you, running dungeons is going to take you fucking forever to level up. It's just not an efficient way to level, especially in the higher level content. Like the enemies just don't give you very much experience.
Yeah.
So, next time you get on, I'll run you through the big things that you can do to like gain levels. Because, dude, if you complete the Wondrous Tales and you just focus on that, when you turn that in, you're going to get half a level off that, no matter what level you are. Like just for turning that in, and that only requires you to do like 9 things, like 9 what would be dungeon runs or duties potentially, depending on what they are. And they're not like most of the ones you can do aren't hard. So once you turn it in, you can just get another one right away. So it's like you could literally just grind that probably, and it would be faster than running
Okay.
dungeons all the time.
I ain't
Because you
think
can do
about
that
that.
while you're running dungeons too. That's the other thing. So there's things you can be doing on the side that will get you additional experience points too. So
All right. Well, I'm gonna try that. I was trying to do it without a guide or anything like that, but I guess technically it's not a guide; it's a friend. So I do that. I
yeah,
listen to
man,
you.
I'll give you some advice. Well, on the front of Final Fantasy 14, so this has been going on for over a month now, probably, I'd say, but we haven't talked about it because like the data when it first came out was a little shaky in my opinion.
Yeah, it was a little fuzzy,
Yeah,
little
it was
biased.
coming from sources that were biased, that had a bias, and that were didn't necessarily have empirical data. But at this point, I think it's pretty clear. It's become clear that this is a true thing that's happened. Is that Final Fantasy 14 has overtaken World of Warcraft as the top most played and most looked for MMO out there. Because I was actually Asmund Gold was looking at Google Sense for searches on both games, and Final Fantasy 14 has actually overtaken World of Warcraft in Google searches, which is fucking crazy that's actually happened, and it happened in the last couple weeks. So this game is like completely blown up in the last month or so, and it's really interesting timing because it's like it's just random. It's not like an expansion's launching right now or anything like that. It's actually at the tail end of an expansion, but Twitch has just completely, like, all the Twitch streamers that play MMOs and even ones that don't play MMOs are fucking playing Final Fantasy 14, dude. It's like completely insane to me how much this game has taken over Twitch. And I kind of want to get into a deeper discussion with this, though, not just the surface level of what we're talking about here, like kind of like why this has happened. So I guess I can start, like, just with the facts, right? So, it's about a month ago, I'd say, like, we jumped into Final Fantasy 14 randomly, right at the end of May. Like, you guys were looking for a game to play, and we were all talking about it on Discord every other night or something. And then you guys decided to go with Final Fantasy 14, and that was random, dude. As far as I know, that had nothing to do with any of the trends that were happening in the moment. Like, because at that point in time, Final Fantasy 14 hadn't, like, become something super in the mainstream yet. We were, like, right on the cusp of that starting. And so we started playing it, and it's really funny that it coincided with this actual trend within the gaming sphere that the game just, like, caught on with tons of people. And at that point, once the Twitch streamers started moving over, the shift really started to happen, because it was happening within the fan bases. Like, the World of Warcraft subreddit and then the Final Fantasy 14 subreddit, you could tell if you were on those, that people on the World of Warcraft one were really upset and not happy with Blizzard, really upset with Shadowlands, not happy with in general with the state of the game, and they were looking for something else. And they a large number of them migrated to Final Fantasy 14, and you could see this on Final Fantasy 14 subreddit, because people were showing up. They were new players, and then veteran players were talking about, like, it's kind of crazy how many, like, sprouts are out there right now and all this stuff. And then I feel like the real tipping point that pushed it over the top for Final Fantasy 14 was when Asmongold started streaming it a couple weeks ago. That was kind of the moment to me that it just became official that this had overtaken World of Warcraft, because he started playing it, and he had been refusing to play it for months. He didn't want to play it, but then he just finally, like, buckled to whatever pressure was happening to him, and he started playing it. But dude, like, he's getting like 100-200,000 viewers every stream he's streaming Final Fantasy 14, and the community has, like, completely embraced him in that game, and he's fucking loving it, man. And it's really pushing this game into the stratosphere, to the point that they actually had to stop selling it on the digital storefront the other day, because they ran out of codes for the game, which is insane. I didn't even think that, like, you think about that, like, how's that even possible? But it happened. So but I guess from your perspective, like, what reasons can you think of that this has finally taken place? World of Warcraft has been dethroned.
Well, obviously one of the obvious answers is Asmongold. I think he's a huge contributor to that. But
Yeah.
like we said before in the Discord, this was kind of happening before him. It was a slow grind, but he just
Yeah.
gave it that extra push.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even before that, though, I would say it was a number of things, like the fall of Blizzard in general.
Which we've been talking about for years.
Yeah, we literally started the podcast off that.
Yeah,
the state of Blizzard. So
right.
I think that was the first thing. The second thing was, like, just WoW in general. Like, it just left, a lot of people just left, because it's not. I don't want to say it's not fun anymore. It's not fun for me, and I think there's a lot of people like me and like you who are just like, it's not their cup of tea anymore.
Right.
It just changed over the years. I think Classic opened a lot of people's eyes, like
Yeah.
us.
Oh yeah, man.
It was a hard pill to swallow for us that we're not fucking 18 anymore, and we can't play these games for hours on end. We have lives and shit like that.
Hold that point. Keep going. I'm gonna come back
Okay.
to that when you're done with your point, though.
Okay, and then I think the final thing is, Final Fantasy is just super accessible. Like, it's a really accessible game. It has a little bit for everybody, in my opinion. The game really took what WoW did and then amplified it and then made it better. And like you said, there are a lot of issues with the game still present. But I think for the vast majority of people, it's the ease of use of the game. Not only can you play it on PC, I think the biggest pusher is the console. You can
Oh,
play it on
absolutely.
console and not have to worry about anything. You can play it. You can tank on console. You can heal on console. You can DPS on console.
Asmongold was
Everything.
talking about that earlier, dude. He was
Yeah,
like, "Why isn't World of Warcraft on console?"
yeah.
He was
It
literally
doesn't.
asking that question, and his chat was like, "Oh, it wouldn't work," and it's like, "Why wouldn't it fucking work?" Like Final Fantasy works, you know. And it's true. I agree with him. You know, it's like, that's kind of it's a big missed opportunity Blizzard left on the table.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing. Like the consoles, because a lot of everyone on Warcraft, right? They're on PC. You don't need the strongest PC. You don't even need a strong PC. You can use like a business laptop to play World of
Yeah,
Warcraft now.
right.
But
Yeah.
it's the simple fact that it is on PC that's negating a huge fan base. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then on top of that, I think it's the brand name too. It's Final Fantasy. A lot of people, this is their first MMO because they played Final Fantasy in general. So when they heard about Final Fantasy having an MMO, they're like, "Oh, okay, I'll give it a try." I mean, so it was just a combination of things that just led up to this, and I'm surprised it honestly didn't happen sooner. To be honest with you,
Yeah, so to go back to your point though about us like realizing with Classic that we weren't, 18 anymore and couldn't like devote our lives to these games. I'll be honest, man. I've pretty much been doing that for 2 months now, with Final Fantasy and now Ion. Like we're at this point, I'm sitting here thinking to myself like, is it World of Warcraft? Like, do I just not like World of Warcraft anymore? Like, is that where I'm at? Because dude, I'm having a blast with Ion and Final Fantasy 14, to be honest with you. And I'm not really like stopping either. I like want to keep playing them.
yeah,
And so I just, dude, I don't know, man. I think WoW might have just lost me, period. Even Classic. Like, as much as I loved it, dude, it's like I've been there, done that kind of thing. There's things in WoW that I never did that I would like to do, but it's just like I don't want to go through the effort of leveling a character and gearing up and doing things that I did do to get to that point. I'm not into it, man. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at, I think, at this point with it. And um I don't know. It's kind of an interesting realization to hit is that because the thing that I've realized playing these two games and watching, I've really been watching a lot of streams of MMO, people playing MMOs, and I'm actually like kind of surprised. I think I'd been thinking, and I think we both thought this for a while, is that the genre was kind of dead, like MMOs were dead, and honestly, they were, they were pretty stagnant for for a long time, the last 10 years. But I think we're about to hit like a new moment in time where the genre reemerges, and may actually become something new, because there's a lot of MMOs in development right now, and way more than there have been any time in the last decade, and a lot of them actually have legitimate promise. Like there is. And they're being made by people who want to make MMOs. They're not being backed by big publishers for the most part. So they have control of their game. They're not trying to create a free to play nickel and diming cash shop MMO. These are games that have real potential, and I'm actually genuinely really excited for a lot of them to really see what they can do. And it's interesting that the MMO genre really isn't dead. Like, I think Final Fantasy has managed to keep it alive to the point that a lot of other people want to get into it now. It's and like the community hasn't gone anywhere. There's a lot of people that still want to play MMOs. I'm surprised by that fact, but it is a fact.
yeah, and so I think that another thing is with that game too is just that not only it's accessible, but the community is actually super nice
Mm-hmm.
compared to WoW.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
we were talking about it, and a lot of people may hate on the fact that you can't have third party apps in the game or third party. I said apps like it's a fucking cell phone. You
Add-ons.
can't have
Yeah.
add-ons in the game. But I think that's like you said in the Discord. That's to its benefit because we're not worried about how much damage somebody is doing. We're not worried about anything. Only thing we're worried about is killing this monster or the boss or the raid boss or whoever that we're fighting at the time. And there's no one actually gauging on what you're doing as a DPS, as a tank, and as a healer. As long as you do your respective jobs, you can get through the dungeon pretty easily. And I think that's a big thing for a lot of people because a lot of people are socially awkward as far as MMOs, and this MMO allows you to be social and you can also be a single player, right? You can also it's a single player MMO, but you can also be social, obviously, like how we're doing as well.
Mhm.
Um, so like I said, I think it just covers everyone. I know that was a huge thing with WoW. People just couldn't get into it because not because of the game or how complicated it was, but because the community was fucking toxic. I know that's the main thing that made me stop tanking in WoW because it was just too toxic for me.
Right. I totally agree. Damage meters, I've been trying to like put this in context recently, and I this is kind of what I think of now when I'm thinking about damage meters in an MMO. Is like, dude, they're like metrics at your job, you know?
Oh
Like
my god, they are.
that's literally what a DPS meter is because you're like seeing what people are doing live and you're getting live data with it. And when those little fuckers come in and they're like, you're only doing 100 damage per second and I'm doing 200, they're like that fucking asshole that you work with who's like, oh, you're not doing enough every fucking day. Why did you go to the bathroom for 10 minutes? You know, it's like they're that guy, you know? And I don't want to play video games with that guy. I really don't. I actually don't even want to be friends with that guy. I don't want to know that guy. Fuck that guy. Because, to be honest, like, I'm playing a game. I'm playing a fucking video game. I'm just here to relax and have fun time. I think that's what we're all here to do, which is what Final Fantasy has embraced. And part of that is not having add-ons, but part of it is it has nothing to do with add-ons. It's the way the game is structured. The game has so much content in it that has nothing to do with doing raids or dungeons. You know, there's like Gold Saucer, there's the housing, there's like all these little side activities. All the shit at Gold Saucer is crazy. There's like chocobo racing. There's these things called gates, which happen every 20 minutes. There's these little mini games you can do to get points for the Gold Saucer that you can use, which it's literally a casino in the in-game world. There's a card game called Triple Triad in the Gold Saucer as well. They have a mahjong fucking game in the game that you can literally queue up for in the duty finder, by the way. They
Oh,
have
really?
all this. Yeah, dude, you have to go unlock it. But yeah, I haven't played it yet. But yeah, it like they have mahjong. It's called mahjong. Like it's in the game. Like, so that's kind of where I'm coming from with this. Is like the game's focus isn't necessarily on that hardcore, just like raider min maxer. I'm at the, like to me, I'm at the point where I'm like, I almost feel like chasing min max gear is like almost like not even the point of the game. Like I'm not even sure I care that my gear is min max because I don't notice small increments of damage increases in this game versus other MMOs I played. And it's just like because the reason is because I don't care. If we kill the boss, we kill the boss. That's the goal. Like it doesn't matter. Like I'm not here to do it in 5 minutes and 30 seconds versus 5 minutes and 40 seconds. I don't really care. Like it doesn't matter. As long as we kill the boss, it's fucking fine. It's like that's the point. So that's kind of what they've created with Final Fantasy 14, and it's kind of beautiful. Like it's really draws in every kind of MMO player because it has something for every type of player, you know? And like it has the transmog grind. Like you can literally play the game just for glamours, you know, where like you're just chasing gear because you want your character to look good. You could play the game where you're just trying to collect all the fucking mounts. There's tons of mounts in the game that you go collect. That's another element to it. You could be somebody who just does Gold Saucer all the time. You could be somebody who's really into housing and you chase like and you just like buy all the interior decorations you can so you can make your house as cool looking as fucking possible. You know, that's another type of play style. You can also be a hardcore raider. There's content for that in the game, you know?
Yep.
That's there as well. It's just like the breadth of options for you is marvelous. It's just beautifully designed. I think they've really hit something, and I think this is why the game is going to continue to grow, and I think it's going to retain a lot of the players it's gaining right now, is because I think World of Warcraft players are going to come to this game and be like, wait, this is what an MMO can be? Because World of Warcraft doesn't have most of this shit in it, you know? It like that game has long since abandoned the idea of innovation and the idea of adding activities that are like fun side activities for their players. Like Dark Moon Fair is still like the big side activity you do, and that shit's been there since vanilla, dude. You know, like it's not really that special of a thing anymore. And like to me, I feel like World of Warcraft kind of lost the plot. They just started releasing stagnant content where they would come out with an expansion and it's the same thing as the last expansion. It's just in a different area, you know?
Yeah,
There's nothing new to it. It's just like, oh, okay, here's a new area. You level 10 levels, and then here's some dungeons, and then you got a raid. And then the next patch comes out, and here's another raid, and then another dungeon or two. And then the next patch comes out, and here's another raid and another dungeon or two. And like that's all you get every patch, you know. And Final Fantasy doesn't seem to be that way. You know, there's a lot of
well,
major
well,
features that show up.
well. I can't say that because we're coming in. I think we'll find out how Final Fantasy really is in the Endwalkers phase. Because remember, we're playing and all the patches are there. In each patch, they release like a dungeon,
Yeah,
I
but
believe.
understood. But World of Warcraft's patches have twice as many years of patches to build off of, and they have less. It feels like they have less content in their game than Final Fantasy does by orders of magnitude. Like because they
Okay.
ripped out a shitload of content with Shadowlands. You know, they didn't
Yeah,
rip it
you're
out,
right.
but they like shoved it into a corner that you need to specifically go to in order to play it. You know,
Yeah.
it's like so. I
The
don't
more
know.
I think about it, I think they should have just made like a WoW 2 or something like that. Like
They need.
that's
Yeah,
that's what I think they need to do.
I
Um,
agree.
I think another part, like I mean, we probably already touched on it, but this is probably my last point. This game is designed for kids and adults, and when I mean adults, I don't mean content and things of that nature. I'm talking about how you can manage your time. This game is so accessible for us because we can
Hmm.
come in and get a lot of shit done, and we're within our little 5 to 6 hours of like off work time before we go to work
Yeah.
the next day. Whereas with
Yeah.
WoW, it's just, I mean, maybe the newer WoW is designed like that, but classic WoW, man, woo, we it just took
Yeah. Just
it
getting a
was a lot.
group could take 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think this game is just really designed, yeah, like you said, for everybody in mind. I really love that aspect about this game.
Hmm. Yeah. We'll keep updating you guys as we play it more, but I'm really looking forward to continuing with it. I'm looking forward to Endwalker. So all right, Montrell. Let's get into the news proper. There was one story that I held back last week because I wanted to get your opinion on it. So Nintendo announced the new Switch model. You know, we were all talking about Switch Pro, Switch Pro, Switch Pro. It's coming. It's coming soon. All the media, games media was saying, you know, Switch Pro is coming. You know, they're working on it and it's going to be announced and released this year. And guess what it was? We ain't getting a Switch Pro, everybody. We're getting a Switch OLED model. And what's special about it? Okay, so it's going to cost $349.99, so $50 more than the current Switch. And what's it going to have for those $50? Okay, it's going to have an OLED screen. It's going to have a little bit better battery life. There's an Ethernet port on the Switch dock, and then it has 128 gigs of flash memory instead of 64 gigabytes. That's pretty much all you're getting. You're not getting 4K. Um, yeah, you're not getting any of the things. You're not getting more power out of this thing, as far as we know at this point. Nothing's come out saying that that is the case. So this is our Switch Pro. Montreal, what did you think of this when you saw this announcement?
I was fucking pissed. I wish I wasn't going through a crisis last week so I could talk about it last week. But yeah, I was pissed because this is bullshit. Like, what are we doing with this? All we get is an OLED screen and some memory. The only thing I want from this Switch is the fucking docking station. And I know the docking station, if they do sell it, it's gonna be like $100. I'm not
Yeah, right.
I'm not spending $100 for an Ethernet port. So it's I, I don't know what people are gonna buy it, and Nintendo knows their fans. So kudos to Nintendo for getting that money, but fuck you, Nintendo, for getting that money because it's ridiculous. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen as far as a next gen or I don't even know if it's a next gen model. It's a upgraded model. I think the
Mid-gen
Xbox,
upgrade. Yeah,
yeah, mid gen upgrade. The PlayStation Pro was better. Xbox Series X or the Xbox One X better. Like even the 3DS to the N3DS was better because you had certain games that could only play on the N3DS. So it's like there's no advantage to buying this game if you already have a Switch. I can see if you have a Switch Lite and you want to go to an actual Switch. Um, this would be a good time to do that. because if you can't even get this Switch OLED model, you can probably get the regular Switch now.
Well, I think they're discontinuing the regular Switch along
Oh
with
my
this.
god! Oh my fucking
Yeah,
god!
I believe that is the case. So if you want to switch a regular one and you don't want to spend the extra 50 for this one, get one now.
Oh my god! This is so
No, that's their
ridiculous.
game, man. That's their game, right? Because they've sold like what 80 million of these things. They got to get the next 70 million, and they need to make sure that that 70 million is more profitable than the first 70. So I don't know. Yeah, for me, this was I wouldn't even say I was mad. It was more just like, why did I ever think they were going to do anything we wanted? Because they hate all of us, all of us. They do. They fucking hate us. They don't care about any of us because this is them. This is what they do. This is what they did. Okay, a bunch of them got in a room and they're like, okay, we want to update the Switch, right? We want a new Switch model. Okay, what can we do? We want to charge $50 more for it. What can we put in that $50 that doesn't cost us a lot of money that would justify the purchase? And what did they settle on? OLED. Okay, OLED screens are significantly better than traditional LCDs. That's true. And then they're like, okay, we'll double the flash memory. Oh, wow, you get 64 gigabytes more. That's like, you're lucky if that's like a game or two at this point in fucking time. And then an Ethernet port on the dock. Like, why wasn't that even there in the first place? Like, what the
Because
fuck? What
Nintendo,
fucking
man.
year are we in? That's like a selling point? What the fuck? Like, dude, and the other hilarious part about the OLED screen is like, if you use your Switch on the TV primarily, it's the most useless feature imaginable. You're never gonna get anything out of it. You get nothing out of it.
And,
Like,
and that's why I think it's useless for me because I play my Switch now like docked. I rarely play it on the go.
yeah, me too. I'm the same way.
So
So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this was. I mean,
what?
people had their fun with it, but I will say the media really missed on this, and they were getting slammed and hammered, and they were trying to defend themselves, but they
They
were
deserved
hyping
it.
the fuck out. They were hyping the fuck out of this
Yeah,
prior to
they
the
deserved it.
announcement, and they couldn't have missed the mark harder. So, yeah,
Yeah, they deserved it. Everyone was tweeting the same exact things. Articles are writing the same exact things. Yeah, they deserved it. I think this is proof that even insider source information can be taken with a grain of salt. I honestly think I think someone made a convincing green text on 4chan and everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is it," and they just ran
hmm
with it. So
yeah,
that's what I think, but we'll never know.
yeah. 349.99, and it is coming out on October 8th.
They
Pre-orders
definitely
actually
have
went
me.
live today,
Okay.
day of recording. So by the time you hear this, you can pre-order it if it's not already sold out. It
Yeah,
probably is.
the bots are probably got to it already.
Yeah, don't worry. The scalpers will own this one too. So look forward to that. But also, what happened today? So the fact that you missed this last week actually really wasn't that bad, Montrell, because the timing of this episode is fortuitous because Valve decided to announce their handheld. The Steam Deck is going to be $400 and it's coming in December 2021, and it is going to be a handheld that can play PC games. And it looks interesting. I'll say that. I mean, what are your
Yeah,
thoughts on this thing at first look?
I'm looking at it. It looks like a budget switch. It does look like a budget switch, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm reading the specs on it. The specs seem actually pretty decent. I'm not even gonna lie. Uh, I'm interested in seeing how it docks because I'm assuming it doesn't come with a dock. You could just like plug it into something. You can plug the HDMI cord or display port into.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Um,
I don't know. So I don't think there's a dock. What they said was that you can plug it into a TV and use it as your PC. Meaning I think there's an HDMI port on the unit somewhere, and you just plug it in and you just sit it on a shelf or something. So not as sexy as Nintendo's solution, but
you can
maybe
install
they'll have a
Windows on
dock.
it. You can install Windows on it. I just read that. I think it's cool. It's just remember the Steam box.
Mm-hmm.
It's giving me Steam box vibes.
Well, they haven't said okay. So the issue with the Steam box was that it wasn't made by Valve. They like licensed people's ability to make those things, and then the other companies made them and sold them as their own thing.
Okay.
Whereas this looks like it's being made by Valve. Like Valve is handling the manufacturing, and I think they're going to have uniform hardware in all of these. That would be my hope. If they don't do that, then this thing is going to flounder and flop just the way the Steam box did. But it is going to have Steam OS on it, and it also has two touchpads on it on both sides of the screen that you can use as a mouse. I think
Okay.
as your mouse. So that's how you're going to facilitate certain games like RTS games or turn-based strategy games like 4X games like Civilization or something like that, or XCOM even. What about the button layout? I've heard a lot of people kind of complaining about the button placement for this thing.
Yeah, I don't like where the sticks are at next to the buttons. It's too close to the sticks. It doesn't look
Yeah,
right.
well, not only does it not look right, if you have a big thumb, you may end up inadvertently hitting your sticks when you're trying to press a button, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
In terms of the actual layout, though, if you take the screen out and just smush them together, it kind of just looks like a PlayStation controller, really like compacted. Probably that's probably what it
Yeah.
would look like. But yeah, I think those sticks are too close to those face buttons in the D-pad, honestly. So
It's
we'll see how
because of
that goes.
those two touchpads.
Yeah, it
If they
is.
had a if they had a is the screen touch screen?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't see that here in the article we have, but
Okay.
um, that would be an interesting. I would think so. Yes, it looks like it is touchscreen.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's how you use a keyboard. So it has a touch keyboard.
Oh, okay. Okay. I don't know. I would have to get it in my hands. I'm not gonna buy it, but if there's like a display model somewhere out there, then I'll probably see how it feels in my hands.
Yeah, I just don't know what I would play on something like this. Like, say I bought it, like I guess I could play like Grim Dawn on it. Maybe that game has
Yeah,
control.
that's yeah.
That'd be a fun. That'd probably be a fun game to play on this thing. Oh God, I don't need. I don't need to set myself up for that.
Yeah, don't buy this. Don't do this.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna buy it, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what everybody thinks of it when it comes out in December. So, all right, Montrell, let's move on. We got a few more stories to get through. Psychonauts 2 is coming out soon, and it was announced by Double Fine and Microsoft that this game is going to have an invincibility mode, and they did this specifically for accessibility purposes. Now, this in and of itself isn't worthy of being a news story. That's not the reason we're talking about this. What happened was this was announced, and this kicked off a fucking shitstorm of discussion about accessibility, difficulty options within games, and then also created this discussion around reviewers because there was a reviewer who said they're going to play this game with invincibility mode toggled on, and then other people came in and were like, well, you're not playing the game the way most people are going to play it. So is your review even credible anymore? Which is an interesting point. But so Montreal, what do you make of all this? Are you on the side of, accessibility over everything, or
There
I'll
isn't.
just let you go. What do you think?
There shouldn't be a side. There shouldn't be. If if
Agreed.
if I want to play an easy game, I will play an easy game. Now,
Yes.
if I play a game, I know this is a dead horse, but fuck it. If I play Sekiro, right? I
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just can't beat Sekiro. I should not be able. There is no call to arms from the developers for me to go to the developers and be like, hey, make an easy mode because I like your game, but I want it to be easier. Either get good at the game, and I'm sorry that's like a fucking trend or whatever, but I really didn't just mean to do that. But for real, either you get better at the game
Yeah.
or don't play the game. The game's not for you. And
Well,
that's okay.
on that front, Microsoft alongside this came out and said, and this to me is what fanned the flames of this whole situation, in my opinion, is they were like, we're ending get good culture. Like they said that in a tweet and then they published it. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. I fucking don't like them doing that. I think that is them being toxic. Like that is like they're literally calling out a group of people when you say that. And you're like you're segmenting us when you say something like that. You know, you are creating sides inherently by making a statement like that, you know? And like for Microsoft to be doing that when they're the ones trying to include everybody, like it's to me like really like a turn of face that I just don't appreciate. Like I understand they're trying to support Double Fine here, and dude, this is our like we both agree on this. Like I'm pretty sure this is both of our stands that like dude, if the developers want to put an invincibility mode in their fucking game, go for it. More power to you, dude. Doesn't mean I'm going to use it, but if people want to use it, sure. I don't. Fuck it, dude. Like, make whatever game you want to make. That's kind of my point on both sides, though. Sekiro, if From Software doesn't want to put difficulty modes into Elden Ring, they don't have to. Why? Like, we shouldn't pressure them into fucking doing it. They want to make the game they want to make. Let them make it. You know, these people know better than us what their game is supposed to be. You know, and to me that like that's where this discussion is so trite to me is and the fact that Microsoft's coming in and saying shit like that is like guys support your developers, yeah, but what if you have a dev like say you have a dev who decides to make a game without accessibility options and it's like highly inaccessible because of how difficult it is. Are you going to come out then and like support them on the opposite side of the spectrum? Because then you're just a hypocrite, you know? It's like so I don't know. I don't like how this all played out. But where do you sit on the idea that a reviewer, though, of a game shouldn't use a mode like this to review the game?
I think a reviewer should do both modes. If there's a super easy mode, I think they should be able to do both modes. They can't just do one mode and not do the other mode though. I
Yeah.
don't think that's if you're a game reviewer. Well, this is my problem with reviewers. I think they need to have specific reviewers for specific genres of games. I don't want a mobile reviewer playing a Madden game because he never played Madden before. I want someone
Yeah.
who played sports games to be reviewing sports games.
Right.
Somebody who played racing games to be reviewing racing games, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the biggest issue I think right now that's suffering the industry. Two, yeah, I know it's a meme, but I don't want someone who can't beat Cuphead, who can't get past the tutorial level in Cuphead reviewing my games, bro. If you can't beat
Well, he
Cuphead,
shouldn't be reviewing Cuphead.
yeah, he shouldn't be reviewing it because he's going to have a
Yeah.
skewed version of what that game
Right.
is in his head.
Right.
So I just don't think they should be doing it. I think it's the reason I'm just so tired of the argument is because yeah, Microsoft really baited people. It's almost like they're trying to do a Gamergate part 2 and they're
Yeah.
really trying to bait people. I
Mhm.
understand why Microsoft did it. They're still in the bottom, right? They have to do whatever they need to do to appeal to the gamers, even if it's the cringy ass I hate saying like woke gamers because I consider myself woke, but like the cringy ass virtue signal gamers. There you go. That's what I call them. Virtue signal gamers. But at the same time, it's like I just don't I don't mind the invincibility toggle. I don't mind it, but don't make it seem like you're trying to make a stand for like
Well,
more accessibility. It's just
dude, yeah, this is
like
the quote. This is the tweets that Double Fine sent out when they announced this. It's two tweets. So I'm gonna tweet here. Quotes within quotes because they're quoting would be serious gamer, I guess. Excuse me, I beat Sword Guy serious time on a no hit hard mode, and if you didn't do that, I don't respect you. And like, can you even comment on things if you're not Diamond 6 ranks and shooting McBlam? I don't think so. And interior quote cool blood, you're so cool. And then they have an upside down smiley emoji. All people should be able to enjoy games, all ages, all possible needs. It's an ongoing and important process for our industry and a challenge we need to meet. End of the day, we want you to have fun, to laugh, to experience a story that affects you on whatever terms you want. And end quote. And like, okay, Double Fine. I appreciate the sentiment. What was the point of the first tweet then? Because you are inherently calling those people out and mocking them, frankly, in a sense that, like, are those people not valid gamers to you? Do they not deserve to have fun the way they want to have fun? Because the way they have fun is challenging themselves and getting fucked up in a game, you know? Like, is their version of fun not valid to you? Because that's what it sounds like. That's kind of what it sounds like if you're gonna mock them like that. Like, to me, that and I I'm not I'm not into this. Like, this devs shouldn't be doing this shit. It like you I just I don't know. Like, they can do what they want. Again, they can put an invincibility mode in the game. I'm not begrudging them that, but don't be mad at people who want challenge in their games. You know, like, those people exist and they deserve games just as much as people who don't want challenge. That's where I stand.
Yeah, I agree. I'm on both sides, right? So like those people, I understand their point, right? Their point is like those people are aggressive. They are a vocal minority, and we talk about them all the time here on a podcast as well. Those type of people, and but we also have another vocal minority of people who just want easy mode on everything and want games to be accessible for them and everything of that nature. And I don't think developers should be taking part in this. Like
Agreed.
this can really make or break their game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It
what if
could, yeah.
yeah, what if people just decide not to buy this game anymore? You're going for a demographic that hardly buys games, in my opinion. So like, if you go for that demographic, yeah, you may sell a couple 100,000, or maybe not even that. But like, you just like, you know, said fuck everybody else because you don't want those type of gamers playing your game. That's essentially what you just said. Like, because I'm a little bit of both. Like, sometimes I like to be chill and play video games on easy mode, or not
Mm-hmm.
easy mode, but I don't do the hardest mode. Rather, I do like normal, something like
Mm-hmm.
that. And then
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I am that super serious person who wants to get diamond ranked, or who wants to beat the game on the hardest mode or some shit like that. Like, and there are a lot of people like me, like out there like that, and there are a lot of people out there like you're. I think you're pretty much the same way. So it's like you're alienating half of me. It sounds
Right.
stupid, but
Yeah.
I mean, like now I just really don't feel like playing the game. I mean, I was looking forward to playing Psychonauts. To be honest with you, I wasn't looking forward to playing it. I was going to try it out, but like now it's just like, I'll try it out when it's on Game Pass, or on sale or something like that. And I think a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people are feeling that way. I think this is an unnecessary jab because I honestly think the climate now wasn't even on that. I don't think the climate was try hard.
This came out of nowhere, dude.
It came out
That's
of
why I was
nowhere.
so annoyed about this whole thing. Because, yeah, this came out of nowhere and was totally prompted by Microsoft and Double Fine. Like, they created this whole shitstorm. And to me, it's like completely unnecessary. You guys didn't need to do this. And to be honest, it almost looks a little it looks a little shady. Like, you're trying to, like, literally trying to drum up drama. Like, you're trying to create controversy so people care about your game more. Because, no offense to Double Fine, but their games don't exactly sell like fucking gangbusters, you know? So it's I don't know. It's not a it's just it's an annoying discussion.
Yeah, it
I'm
is.
sick of having it.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's like, guys, like, we can disagree on what kind of games we enjoy. That doesn't mean neither type of game needs to exist, you know? Like,
Yeah.
there should be games for everyone. That message is a good message, but don't dilute that message by throwing fucking mud at a side of the gaming community that you don't fucking like. Okay? Like, what, like, what's the point of that? Like, that kind of shit, this shit, it just infects online culture. And I don't want to get like fucking like off the rails too hard here, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, it's on one side of your on one side of your mouth, you're saying, oh, everybody should be included, everybody should be able to do this, and then on the other side of your mouth, you're fucking bagging a group of people because you don't fucking think they should be included. Like,
Well, this
don't be a
conversation's been
hypocrite.
going on since fucking Dark Souls came out, man. And like
Mm-hmm.
it kind of drummed up again when Returnal came out,
Yeah,
but
it
like
did. Yes.
a lot of, I don't know why that fan flame the flames went out really fast on that. I have no idea why, because I think a lot of people just like, if you can't play the game, don't play the game. Like, shut up, just don't play the game. And
Yeah.
a lot of people didn't play the game because they're like, a lot of people were honest and they're like, hey, if you don't like this type of game, don't play it. If you die at the last part of the boss, you will start all the way over from the beginning of the game. That's what type of game this is.
Yeah. Well,
And,
it was the level you're on. It wasn't the whole
oh, it
game.
wasn't the whole game.
But
Yeah, the level
there
you're
was no
on.
saving though. So the game didn't save. There was no save feature. Like, and
Okay.
once you finished a run, the game would save. So there was no saving, and that was the big complaint. I remember a lot of people belly aching about that. And to be honest, I understood where they were coming from. The
Yeah, that's a
reason I didn't
legitimate
pick up
complaint.
Returnal, the reason I didn't pick up Returnal is because I'm not in the mood to play a game that has those old school sensibilities where you'll play for 3 hours, fucking die, and lose a shitload of progress because you couldn't save. You know, it's like I'm not into that kind of gameplay anymore. However, on the same in the same vein, like they stuck to their guns. They didn't add a save feature into the game, and they're not. It doesn't. I don't think they're going to. They stuck to their guns. They held fast. The game is the game. They made the game they wanted to make, and it doesn't have to be for everybody. This is my problem. Is like we're like talking about these things like these games exist in some fucking vacuum where like everybody gets to play them. It's just like not every game's made for everyone. I'm sorry. That's just a fucking reality. There's an audience these games are pointed towards, you know? And games that try to be for everyone suck ass. Like, they suck. It ruined World of Warcraft because that's what the fucking game became. Like, it became a game where they were trying to appeal to everyone because they had 15 million subs and they wanted 20 million subs. You know? Well, what happened? The fucking opposite happened. Like, they started making the game for everyone and they ended up losing subs because the game wasn't what it was supposed to be anymore. What all of us went to play it as was gone. You know, the game we wanted to play was fucking gone. So like, that's my thought, is like, stop trying to tell devs what to do. Okay. With
Well,
Elden Ring, because we're gonna do this again when Elden Ring comes out.
oh my
Guarantee you,
god,
we're gonna do this again when Elden Ring comes out. And my point is gonna be the same. They don't want to make a game with difficulty on it. Play like, if you can't, if you don't find Elden Ring appealing the way it's designed, then move on. There's other games, bro. There's other games. You know, it's just, I don't know.
yeah,
It's like childish. They feel
you
left
have to
out. It's FOMO.
yeah, you have to accept that everything's not for you. And I think even the other side of Gamergate or whatever you want to call them, I think that side is tired of talking about it because I haven't even seen them engage with anybody. To be honest with you, like a couple people engage with them, but everyone else is just like, because I follow a lot of hardcore people who go into like games hardcore, and they just been quiet on. They're like, I'm not even going to say anything. I just don't have time for it. I don't have the energy anymore. And that's where I'm at with it. I just, you know what? You can Kotaku, Polygon, you can think wherever you want to think. I don't have the energy for it anymore. If that's what you want to think of us, fine.
Mm-hmm.
You think of that way. If the game developers want to say that, fine. I will play the games that are catered for me, and those games go over there and they do their own thing. That's it.
100%. Yeah, totally. So, yeah, I don't think much more needs to be said on the front, but yeah, it keeps happening. We keep having this discussion. It seems like a real schism that is not going away anytime soon. So, be prepared for it when Elden Ring comes out, everybody.
I blame Demon Souls and Dark Souls, man. It's their fault.
I mean, it is their fault, but it shouldn't be their fault.
Yeah, I know.
Unquote,
I'm joking, but yeah, I know. What you
it's
mean.
like,
Yeah.
it's annoying that it is centered around From Software's games, you know, because they're making a very specific game. And why does everybody feel the need to feel like they're included in it, you know? I don't understand why it's so focused on those, you know? There are thousands of games that come out every year, you know? And it's like that specific game you all want to play. Like, why is that? You know, it's like there's tons of action games you can play that aren't hard or aren't as challenging as Dark Souls, you know? So I don't want to sound like an elitist. I'm going to sound like an elitist when I say this, but they're not as hard as you guys think they are. I'm sorry, they're not. Especially Dark Souls, because you can level up in those games. You can literally outlevel the content to the point where you like don't even take damage. It's just like, you know, so I don't know. I it's trite. I don't want to talk about it anymore, Montrell. Let's move on. We got two more stories. These aren't big stories. We're not going to stick on these too long, but the Bethesda PS5 exclusive Ghostwire Tokyo has been delayed to 2022. that was coming out in here in late 2021, but Tango has announced that it's coming in 2022. So if you were looking forward to that, you were going to have to wait a little bit longer for it. And then a new game was announced by Namco, Gundam Evolution, which Montrell coined coined the term. What did you call it? Gundam Overwatch Gundam or something
Yeah,
like that.
Gundam Overwatch, man.
Gundam Overwatch.
That actually sounds like it could be a title of a new Gundam series, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Gundam colon Overwatch or something like that. Yeah, yeah, right. There's actually a trailer that was accompanied with it. I mean, it looks like an arena shooter. It really does look like Overwatch with Gundams. I you know, sure.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly where I've been out of Gundam games since
Me
like the
too.
PS2. I haven't touched a Gundam game in a while, so
There is going to be a closed beta though in August for anybody who's interested on PC. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. This reminds me that I want from Square. What I want from Square is a new Front Mission game or a remake of one of the old ones. Because where they left Front Mission is just like the most disgusting, horrible thing ever.
they're not going back to that, bro. They
When
won't
what was
even
it called? Front Mission Evolved or whatever? Was
I
that what
don't
it was
know.
called?
I just remember watching gameplay footage of it, and I'm like, "This is the actual game," and everyone in the comments are like, "This is the actual game."
Yeah, bro, dude, they turned a strategy RPG series into an online action combat game, like PvP game. Like, what the fuck were they thinking, dude? What were they thinking? They ruined that series. Bring it back, Square. Save it. Save it. All right. That's all we got for news. We do have one listener question that I held back last week as well from that dude, Montrell. This is that dude's question. I saw someone say their gaming wish was no more exclusives. While the concept wouldn't
Yeah.
happen, what do you think about a world of no exclusives?
It would be hella boring. Oh my god, it would actually be the worst world I've ever seen in my life. Because
You really think
probably,
so?
I
You think
probably
it would
just
be that
exaggerate.
different?
Yeah, I don't. I think exclusives give brands their own flavor and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Uh, we got Nintendo for a reason, we got Xbox for a reason, and we got PlayStation for a reason. And if we didn't have that distinctness, everything would be bland the same. We probably wouldn't have a console war. It'd probably just be one console, and everything would be on that console, and there will be no need for competition except for like between like the sports games and some of the fucking shooter games. But there will be no need for competition, and I think the consumers will suffer the most.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't put a lot of thought into this, but you're right. What you're saying is not necessarily wrong. Like if there were no exclusives, like we wouldn't have a Last of Us or Last of Us Part Two, love it or hate it. We wouldn't have that game. We wouldn't have God of War. Probably. Some of these, especially, we definitely wouldn't have all the Nintendo games we have.
Yep.
Nintendo, honestly, without Nintendo, I really feel like gaming would look so different. I think every game would be like an Assassin's Creed clone,
Yeah.
if Nintendo didn't exist, because they really proved out that games aimed at younger audiences can also appeal to adults
Yeah.
in such a way that other companies are actually willing to go for that market. I mean, fucking Activision made a new Crash Bandicoot game. Like what the fuck? Activision? Like what? And then you've got EA with like all their little what was it, Entwined, and then Kingdom Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, like shit like that. Like these are games being made by publishers that make like super serious games. So like I think that's because of Nintendo's influence, to be honest. Like Nintendo has shown how valuable those kind of games can be. And it's the same thing with Sony. I think Sony, on the other hand, has done the same thing with story driven cinematic games, and love them or hate them. They are a part of the industry that is pretty unique to Sony. I don't think very many other game developers get anywhere close to where Sony does with storytelling, from that kind of that kind of style, at least. You know, there are games that tell great stories, but they're not doing it like at the level cinematically that Sony's studios are, you know.
Yeah.
And then even Xbox, you know, I wouldn't say recently they've had a huge impact, but dude, back in the day, man, like with fucking Halo and Gears, they fucking shaped those genres for years, you
I
know,
think they
first
shape
person and third
multiplayer.
person
Yeah.
shooters. Yeah,
They
and they
shape
shape
multiplayer.
multiplayer,
Yeah.
right?
And
Right.
it like
So
so, and then even PC gaming, like you wouldn't have the MMOs, or maybe PC would be the
mm,
only platform that
hmm
we'd be playing on, you know, and
hmm
it
hmm
um and I don't think gaming will be as big as well, because you know we'll have everyone will just be playing on the keyboard and mouse, or because that would be the most accessible controller. To be honest with you, it's the most diverse controller, is the
yeah,
keyboard and mouse. So, yeah, imagine a world in the '90s without like Mario, Sonic. Like, imagine that. Just
right. Or those like D&D RPGs that were on PC, you know,
yeah,
like there, and then like those like all those Star Wars games that were on all the consoles and PCs, like X-Wing versus TIE Fighter and shit, and like Rogue Squadron on consoles. You know, yeah, I don't know. I feel like you wouldn't have a lot of these games if these exclusives didn't exist. I actually think they have a positive impact because they create these unique ecosystems that allow companies to really experiment, you know. Um Whereas in the third party realm, companies are really afraid to experiment because an experiment can bankrupt you, you know, if it doesn't work out. So whereas with Sony, they can exist with a failure or two. So can Nintendo, so can Microsoft, you know, like they can have their games fail. So you get more experimentation in that realm too. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, exclusives are bad in some ways, especially in situations where a company like buys another company, like Microsoft buying Bethesda and taking all of those games away from other platforms. You know, that's where exclusives can be negative. But in terms of actual innovation and stuff like that, I think they're a very positive influence. So
yeah, yeah. So I don't wish a world without exclusives. I mean, I know they can be annoying and they have annoying fan bases and shit, but they actually do bring flavor and spice and have a place in the game industry.
well said. All right, Macho. That's it, man. We don't
Oh
have anything
shit!
else.
Damn, that was a fast episode.
Yeah, man, it was a quickie. I almost talked more last week than we did this week. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we go today?
No, not right now.
Okay. All right. Well, we've been really light on news lately, so hopefully we'll get some more exciting stuff to talk about in the coming weeks. But all right. Well, if you guys like this episode, please like the episode, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you are listening to it on. And please share it with your friends. If you'd like to interact with us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrapForTheHokage for Montrell. That's the number 4, not the word. I'm at ThunderNut01, and the show is at The Player's Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so at on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. And that's it for us, guys. It's the end of this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. See you next week. Bye.